Hello everyone. My name is Clara. I'm 72 years old, and I live alone in my condo in Sarasota, Florida. Actually, it used to be two of us. I had a husband, but that husband cheated on me with a younger woman and ran away to Austin 3 years ago. It's been really tough since then. Every night at 3 a.m., mysterious doorbell attacks. Suddenly delivered expensive meals I never ordered. Even rumors spreading to my neighbors that I'm getting forgetful. I had to endure it all by myself. Then one day, my mother-in-law Martha suddenly barged in with her trunk. "You think you can live in Michael's house all by yourself?" I was angry for a moment, but I smiled quietly and said this. "Then please, make yourself comfortable." And what happened exactly one day after I left? Oh, it was absolutely satisfying. Turns out this whole thing was a massive scam. Medicare identity theft, forged power of attorney documents. It was a perfect plan to put me in a nursing home and steal my house. But what was really thrilling was what came next. I had documented everything. Before we begin this story, please subscribe. Let me know in the comments where in the world you're watching this from. If you hit the like button, you'll get to hear a story where justice wins. Now, let's get started. The Florida morning sun cuts through Clara's kitchen window like honey through glass. She moves with the slow precision of someone who has learned that order keeps chaos at bay. Her slippers whisper across the tile floor. Clara reaches for the plastic pill organizer on her counter. The compartments snap open one by one. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Each click sounds like a small promise. She counts under her breath. Heart medicine, calcium, vitamins. Her finger taps each section like taking attendance. The Medicare card comes next. She lifts it from the kitchen drawer and places it on the table with reverence. The red, white, and blue colors catch the morning light. Her Social Security statement follows. Both documents rest side by side like old friends. "Order is how I stay standing," Clara whispers to herself. The words have become her morning prayer. Outside her condo, the Gulf of Mexico stretches endlessly blue. Inside, her jaw stays tight with concentration. The doorbell chimes. Sharp. Electronic. Demanding. Clara glances at her security camera screen. An elderly woman drags a large trunk across the walkway. The woman's bright red lipstick seems too bold for the morning heat. Her shoulders square like a soldier preparing for battle. Finally, the woman mutters before Clara even approaches the door. Clara forces a polite smile. The expression feels stiff on her face. She opens the door slowly. "Martha, what are you doing here?" Martha pushes past Clara without invitation. She claims the air-conditioned living room like she owns it. Her trunk wheels scrape against the doorframe. The sound makes Clara wince. Martha drops a thick folder onto the kitchen counter. The paper edges look crisp and aggressive. She turns to face Clara with eyes that burn with purpose. "Michael's company is drowning," Martha announces. Her voice cuts through the cool air. "We need the house. We need your house." Clara's fingers drift toward her Medicare card. She touches the plastic edge like it might remind her who she is. The card feels warm from the morning sun. "Martha, I don't understand." "There's nothing to understand," Martha interrupts. She opens her folder with theatrical precision. "Sign this." A quitclaim deed slides across the table. Martha's finger jabs at the signature line like pointing a weapon. "Sign it. You've had your little quiet life long enough." Clara's throat tightens. She can hear Michael's voice echoing behind Martha's words. Smooth. Cowardly. The tone that convinced her to trust him with everything. "This home is not a bargaining chip," Clara says carefully. "It's a lifeboat," Martha snaps back. "And you're hogging it." The words hang in the air like smoke. Clara stares at the deed. The legal language blurs before her eyes. Her hands remain steady, but her heart pounds against her ribs. Martha begins unpacking her trunk. Clothes, toiletries, a prescription bottle that rattles when she sets it down. She moves through Clara's space like water filling a container. "I'll be staying in the master bedroom," Martha announces. "You can't just watch me." Later that afternoon, Clara walks to the community mailbox. The Florida heat presses down like a heavy blanket. She moves slowly, her cane tapping against the sidewalk. The sound echoes between the palm trees. A property tax notice peeks from her stack of mail. Martha appears beside her like a shadow. "Look at this," Martha says, snatching the envelope first. "Taxes don't pay themselves." Her voice carries across the courtyard. Too loud. Too public. A neighbor passes by. Mrs. Richardson from Building C. Martha's expression transforms instantly. Her frown becomes concern. Her harsh voice softens to sugar. Clara's been forgetful lately, Martha confides. Bless her heart. Mrs. Richardson nods sympathetically. Her eyes fill with pity when she looks at Clara. The look cuts deeper than any harsh word. Clara feels the rumor take root. Small, deadly, spreading through the community like spilled wine on white fabric. She forces her hands to stop shaking in public. The effort requires all her concentration. Her fingers grip the remaining mail until the paper crinkles. I'm not forgetful, Clara says quietly. But Mrs. Richardson has already walked away. The damage spreads in whispers and glances. Clara watches her reputation dissolve in the afternoon heat. That evening, Martha takes the master bedroom. She shuts the door like a judge's gavel falling. The sound echoes through the condo. Clara stands in the hallway. Her reflection stares back from the dark window. The woman in the glass looks older than she feels inside. You don't get to rewrite my retirement, Clara says to the closed door. Watch me, comes Martha's muffled reply. The night air conditioning hums steadily. Clara returns to her kitchen table. The warm lamp creates a circle of yellow light. She smooths the quitclaim deed flat with her palm. The paper feels like an animal she's trying to tame. She doesn't sign. Instead, Clara opens a manila folder. She writes in block letters across the tab evidence. The pen moves slowly but steadily. Each letter forms with deliberate care. The deed slides into the folder with a whisper. Clara closes it gently. The sound feels final, like a door locking. Outside, the Gulf continues glowing under the moonlight. The waves roll endlessly against the shore. But inside the condo, Clara feels a cold front moving in. She touches her Medicare card one more time. Her finger traces the embossed letters of her name. The plastic feels solid, real, permanent. They can't erase what's already written, she whispers. The words disappear into the quiet kitchen. Clara sits at her table until the Gulf wind dies down. Until the building settles into sleep. Until she's certain she's still herself. The pill organizer sits beside her folder. Monday through Sunday. Order through chaos. Her life measured in small, daily victories. Tomorrow will bring new battles. But tonight, Clara guards her evidence like a lighthouse keeper tending her flame. The darkness presses against her windows, but the warm light holds steady. Her Medicare card reflects the lamp glow. The signature in the corner proves she exists. That she belongs here. That this condo, this life, this careful order she's built, it's all hers. Martha's suitcase wheels squeak from the bedroom. The sound reminds Clara that the invasion has only just begun. But the folder marked evidence sits solid on her table. A promise that she won't disappear without a fight. The Gulf waves keep their rhythm. Steady, unbothered, like they've always known her name. The first 3 a.m. chime slices through Clara's sleep like a blade through silk. Her eyes snap open in the darkness. The Ring doorbell alert pierces the quiet condo with electronic urgency. Clara's bare feet touch the cool tile floor. The sensation jolts her fully awake. She grips her cotton robe closed with trembling fingers. Her phone screen glows harsh blue in the dark hallway. The security camera shows an empty porch. Nothing moves except a palm frond swaying in the Gulf breeze. Clara's heart pounds against her ribs. Who's there? She whispers to the screen. Martha's voice drifts from the master bedroom. Half asleep but somehow smug. Probably you again. The words sting like salt in a wound. Clara stares at the empty porch. The concrete looks innocent under the yellow security light. But the bell rang. She heard it. She felt it in her bones. Her finger hovers over the intercom button. She doesn't press it. The silence stretches like a held breath. Another chime. Sharp. Immediate. Demanding. Clara checks the camera again. Still empty. Her hands shake as she screenshots the timestamp. 3:17 a.m. The numbers glow accusingly on her phone. I'm not imagining this, she tells her reflection in the dark window. But doubt creeps in like cold air under a door. Did someone really ring? Or is her mind playing tricks in the Florida heat? The next evening brings a different kind of invasion. Clara sits at her kitchen table reviewing Medicare statements. The pages rustle like autumn leaves. Numbers and codes march across the white paper in neat black rows. The doorbell rings at dinner time. Normal hour. Normal sound. Clara opens the door to find an Uber Eats driver. Young man with tired eyes and a heavy insulated bag. The smell of garlic butter and seared steak wafts up like expensive perfume. Delivery for Clara, he announces. Clara blinks at the receipt taped to the bag. Her eyes focus on the total. $118. The number burns itself into her vision. I didn't order this, she says slowly. The driver checks his phone. Frowns. Looks back at Clara with growing impatience. Address matches. Name matches. Martha appears beside Clara like smoke materializing. Her smile seems practiced. Rehearsed. The expression a professional actor might wear. She gets confused, Martha tells the driver. Her voice carries just loud enough for neighbors to hear. Just leave it. Clara's cheeks burn with humiliation. The heat spreads down her neck like spilled coffee. She reaches for her purse with mechanical movements. No, I'll pay, Clara says quietly. The words taste like ash. She counts out bills with fingers that won't quite steady. The driver accepts the money without meeting her eyes. He probably sees this kind of thing all the time. Confused elderly women, embarrassed family members, money changing hands over mistakes. But this wasn't a mistake. Clara knows it, Martha knows it. The knowledge sits between them like a third person at dinner. The yacht club brunch happens every Thursday. Clara has attended for 3 years. Since Michael left. Since she needed somewhere to belong that didn't echo with his absence. She sits at the familiar table overlooking the marina. White tablecloth, crystal glasses, the smell of fresh coffee and ocean salt mixing in the morning air. Martha performs concern like theater. Her voice projects just far enough. Her expressions hit all the right notes. Clara's memory isn't what it used to be, Martha confides to 2 women across the table. Bless her heart. The phrase drops like a stone into still water. Ripples of sympathy spread across the women's faces. They look at Clara with the particular kindness reserved for broken things. Martha turns to Clara with exaggerated care. Her voice rises slightly. Public. Patronizing. Did you remember your pills today, sweetheart? Clara's smile freezes on her face. The expression feels like ice cracking. She grips her coffee cup to keep her hands busy. Yes, Clara replies. I remember plenty. But her voice comes out thinner than she wants. Weaker. The words seem to evaporate in the humid air. One of the women nods knowingly. It's so hard when they start to go, she whispers. They, as if Clara has already disappeared. That afternoon, Clara spreads her Medicare EOB sheets across her kitchen table. The papers crinkle under her palms like dried leaves. Black ink on white paper. Codes she learned to read during 30 years of school administration. Her eyes scan the familiar format. Date of service. Provider name. Amount billed. Amount paid. Then she stops. A surgery she never had stares back at her from the page. Knee replacement. $47,000. Her finger traces the line item with growing horror. A prescription follows. Blood pressure medication she doesn't take. Filled at a pharmacy she's never visited. Her stomach drops hard. The sensation reminds her of missing a step in the dark. The world tilts sideways for a moment. This is not a mistake, she whispers. The room feels suddenly too warm. The air conditioning hums overhead but brings no relief. Sweat beads along Clara's hairline. She checks the next page. Then the next. More procedures. More prescriptions. More services billed to her name for treatments she never received. Someone is using her Medicare number like a credit card. Spending her benefits like pocket money. Stealing her medical identity while she sits in her own kitchen. The kitchen Martha now shares. Clara confronts her that evening. The ice maker rumbles to life as Martha pours herself iced tea. The cubes clink against glass like tiny bells. Someone used my name, Clara says quietly. Martha doesn't flinch. She stirs her tea slowly. The spoon circles with mechanical precision. You're always so dramatic, Martha replies. These aren't my prescriptions. Or you did and forgot. The accusation hangs in the air like smoke. Clara's hands tremble. She presses her thumb into the sharp edge of her pill organizer until it hurts. The pain anchors her to reality. I know what I've taken and what I haven't. Do you? Martha asks. Her eyes don't leave Clara's face. Really? The doubt works like poison. Small. Insidious. Working its way through Clara's confidence drop by drop. Clara calls the Medicare helpline the next morning. The hold music plays with relentless cheer. Synthesized strings and artificial joy. The sound makes her teeth ache. She takes notes on a yellow legal pad. Dates, claim numbers, reference codes. Her handwriting stays steady despite the tremor in her voice. I need a fraud investigation opened today, Clara tells the representative. Martha walks by during the call. She hums under her breath. A tuneless melody that sounds like mockery. She's on the phone again, Martha sings to no one in particular. The words carry through the condo like gossip on the wind. As if Clara's attempts to protect herself are symptoms of decline. Another delivery arrives that evening. This one unpaid. The driver stands in the doorway with growing anger. His voice rises with each word. Someone ordered $40 of Chinese food. Cash on delivery. Clara shakes her head. Her hands flutter like trapped birds. I don't eat Chinese food. MSG gives me headaches. Lady, I got the order right here. Your address. Your name. Martha emerges from the hallway. She takes in the scene with theatrical concern. Oh dear, she says. Clara, what did you order now? The implication sits heavy in the humid air. Clara steps between the door and Martha. Her spine straightens despite the arthritis pain. I will not be publicly shamed out of my own life, she says clearly. The driver looks between them. Confusion and irritation war across his face. He doesn't want to referee family drama. He just wants to get paid and move on to the next delivery. Clara pays again. Another $40 from her fixed income. The money disappears like water through sand. That night, the Ring doorbell chimes again at 3 a.m. Clara lies in bed listening to the electronic sound. She doesn't get up, doesn't check the camera, doesn't give Martha more ammunition. But she can't sleep either. The silence between chimes feels loaded with menace. Clara realizes the emptiness is being used against her. The nothing on her porch carries as much weight as something. Someone wants her awake, confused, doubting her own senses. Someone wants her to look crazy. The air conditioning cycles on and off through the night. The sound usually comforts Clara. White noise that promises order and control. But tonight it sounds like breathing. In and out, patient, waiting. Clara pulls her pillow over her ears but can't block out the truth. This isn't random. This isn't confusion. This isn't age catching up to her sharp mind. This is war. And she's losing ground one delivery at a time. Clara waits until she hears the shower running. The water pipes sing their familiar song through the condo walls. Martha's voice drifts from the bathroom. Off-key humming. Confident. Careless. The purse sits on the sofa like a treasure chest left unguarded. Black leather. Expensive. The kind of bag that announces its owner's importance to the world. Clara's heart beats loud in her ears. She crosses the living room with careful steps. Her slippers whisper against the tile floor. The sound seems deafening in the quiet space. The AC hums overhead. The Gulf wind hisses through the balcony door. Normal sounds of a normal morning. But Clara feels like a thief in her own home. She lifts the purse. The leather feels warm under her fingers. Heavy with secrets. Confident in ways Clara hasn't felt in months. The zipper opens with a soft metallic whisper. Clara's breath catches in her throat. Inside, Martha's life spreads out like evidence at a crime scene. Tissues. Reading glasses. Prescription bottles that rattle when touched. A leather wallet fat with credit cards. And underneath everything else, a manila folder. Clara's fingers tremble as she opens it. The papers inside seem to glow under the morning light streaming through her windows. Official letterhead. Legal language. Signatures that look familiar but wrong. An assisted living contract. Already filled in. Clara's name written in neat handwriting across the resident information. Monthly fees highlighted in yellow marker. $8,000 per month. Her breath catches like a hook in her throat. Below that, a power of attorney document. Her signature at the bottom. Only it isn't her signature. The letters slant wrong. The loops too perfect. Like someone copied her name from another document. So that's the plan, Clara whispers. Her voice cracks on the words. The papers shake in her hands like autumn leaves in wind. The shower stops. Martha's humming continues. Louder now. Coming closer. The bathroom door handle turns with a soft click. Clara drops the papers back into the purse. Her fingers fumble with the zipper. Too slow. Too loud. The sound seems to echo through the condo. Martha emerges from the hallway. Hair wrapped in a towel. Skin flushed from hot water. She stops when she sees Clara. For 1 second, the mask slips. Fear flashes across Martha's features. Then fury. Raw and immediate. "Put those down," Martha hisses. Clara stands straighter than her knees want to allow. The papers crinkle in her grip. Evidence of a plan to erase her. "You forged my life," Clara says quietly. "You don't know what you're talking about. Assisted living. Power of attorney. My signature." Clara's voice gains strength with each word. "You planned to disappear me." Martha lunges forward. Her hands reach for the documents like claws. Clara pulls them back against her chest. The papers press against her heart. "You ungrateful woman," Martha snarls. "After everything we've tried to do for you." "Ungrateful?" Clara's voice rises. "I'm the one you're trying to erase." She fumbles for her phone with one hand. Keeps the papers pressed against her body with the other. The camera flash reflects off the official letterhead. The bright light captures Martha's forged signature. Her fake concern. Her real plan. A knock at the door interrupts them. Soft but insistent. Neighbor politeness with an edge of irritation. Martha's expression transforms instantly. The fury disappears behind a mask of concern. Her voice drops to gentle worry. "Clara's having an episode," she calls toward the door. The words hit like a slap. Clara feels the lie settle into the building's gossip network. Another seed of doubt about her competence. Her sanity. Her right to exist in her own space. "I am not confused," Clara says slowly. Clearly, like she used to speak to panicked students. "I am being targeted." But the neighbor has already walked away. The damage spreads in whispered conversations and concerned glances. Clara notices Martha's phone on the kitchen counter. The screen lights up with a text preview. The words glow like a neon sign. "Next delivery 9:40 p.m. Keep pressure." Clara's stomach drops. She slides her phone toward the counter. Captures the screen with her camera. The flash reflects off the glass surface. Martha spins around at the sound. Her eyes narrow when she sees Clara's phone. "What are you doing?" "Documenting," Clara replies. She locks her phone screen. The evidence disappears into digital safety. But the knowledge burns in her mind like a brand. This isn't random harassment. This isn't age-related confusion. This is a coordinated campaign to make her look incompetent. And Martha isn't working alone. The phone in Martha's hand begins to ring. She answers on the first tone. Her voice projects across the condo like a stage performance. "Michael? Your wife is rummaging again." Wife. As if Clara still belongs to the man who abandoned her 3 years ago. As if marriage vows create permanent ownership rather than temporary partnership. Clara moves toward the phone. Her cane taps against the tile with deliberate rhythm. Each step feels like claiming territory. "Tell your son I'm done being the soft option," she says toward the speaker. Michael's voice crackles through the connection. Distant, weak, the sound of a man whose life is falling apart in Texas. "Mom, just handle it, okay? I can't deal with this right now." The words reveal everything. Michael isn't coming to rescue Martha. He isn't riding in like a hero to save his mother from his difficult ex-wife. He's drowning in his own problems. And Martha is drowning with him. Clara realizes the trap isn't just legal. It's social, financial, psychological. Martha is building a case against Clara's competence piece by piece. Witness by witness. Delivery by delivery. The forged documents are just the final step. The legal framework to formalize what the community already believes. That Clara can't take care of herself. That she needs supervision. That her family knows what's best for her. Clara looks at her own hands. Still trembling. Still holding evidence of her planned disappearance. But she's not disappeared yet. The papers don't just accuse. Each page feels like a hand reaching for her throat. But hands can be pushed away. Documents can be challenged. Signatures can be proven false. Martha ends her phone call with theatrical frustration. She turns back to Clara with renewed determination. "Give me those papers." "No," Clara says simply. The word hangs in the air between them. Small but immovable. A line drawn in her own living room sand. Martha's mask slips again. Behind the concern and manipulation, Clara sees something unexpected. Desperation. Martha needs this plan to work. Not just for Michael's company. Not just for family finances. She needs Clara to be incompetent. To be a problem that requires a solution. Because if Clara isn't the problem, then someone else is. and that someone else might be Martha herself. The realization settles over Clara like dawn light. Slow but inevitable. She's not just defending her home and her independence. She's defending her right to exist as a complete person. To make her own choices. To live her own life. Even if that life is smaller and quieter than it used to be. Even if that life sometimes feels too big for one elderly woman to manage alone. It's still her life, and it's not for sale. The yacht club sits beside the marina like a white wedding cake. 3 stories of privilege and Gulf views. Clara has attended their Thursday brunches for 3 years. Since Michael left. Since she needed somewhere to feel normal. Today feels different. Martha walks beside her across the parking lot. Her heels click against asphalt with military precision. She carries herself like a woman going to war. Remember, Martha says softly. We're family. We're concerned. The words sound like a threat disguised as advice. Clara grips her purse tighter. The forged documents rest inside her folder like sleeping snakes. The dining room overlooks the marina. White tablecloths and crystal glasses catch the morning sunlight. Boats bob in their slips like expensive toys. The smell of fresh coffee mixes with ocean salt. Clara takes her usual seat. Martha settles beside her like she belongs there. Like she's always been part of Clara's social circle. The women at their table welcome Martha with polite curiosity. Mrs. Henderson from Building B. Ms. Foster who owns the corner unit. Women who have known Clara since she moved to Sarasota. Women who are about to watch her disappear. Martha orders orange juice and begins her performance. Her voice carries just far enough. Her expressions hit all the right notes of family concern. We're so worried about Clara, she confides to the table. The words land like stones in still water. Ripples of attention spread across the women's faces. They lean forward slightly, ready to receive gossip disguised as concern. Clara sips her coffee. The liquid tastes bitter on her tongue. She watches Martha work the room like a professional actress. Her memory isn't what it used to be, Martha continues. Yesterday she forgot she ordered food delivery. 3 times. Mrs. Henderson makes a sympathetic sound. Her eyes drift to Clara with the particular sadness reserved for failing things. How difficult for you, she murmurs to Martha. Clara tries to speak, to defend herself, to explain the coordinated harassment. But Martha's voice rises over hers. We may need to move Clara into assisted living for her safety. The words hit the table like a judge's gavel. Final. Inevitable. The decision already made by people who know what's best. Clara feels the room tilt. Like she's watching herself from underwater. The faces around the table blur together. Concern and pity and relief that it's happening to someone else. Oh no, Ms. Foster whispers. That's so hard. Martha raises her glass of orange juice. The gesture looks like a toast to Clara's approaching disappearance. Sweetheart, Martha says to Clara. Her voice projects across nearby tables. You forgot you ordered steak every night this week. The laughter starts small, polite, awkward, but it grows like a spreading stain. Other diners glance over with amused recognition. The crazy old lady who orders food and forgets about it. Clara hears the faint ringing in her own ears. The sound of social death. This is how a person disappears. One smile at a time. One shared story at a time. She pushes back from the table. Her chair legs scrape against the tile floor. The sound cuts through the dining room chatter. I need some air, Clara says quietly. No one stops her. Clara steps onto the patio. The Gulf breeze carries salt and seaweed. Usually the ocean calms her. Today it feels like standing at the edge of the world. Her hands shake as she grips the railing. The metal feels warm under her palms, heated by the Florida sun. But her fingers feel cold, bloodless. Her knees buckle slightly. The sensation reminds her of how vulnerable her body has become, how easily it betrays her at the worst moments. She fumbles in her purse for her hearing aid batteries case. The small plastic container slips from her fingers, drops to the tile deck with a soft rattle. The tiny silver discs roll across the patio like scattered tears. Clara crouches to collect them. Her movements feel clumsy, embarrassing, exactly what everyone expects from a confused elderly woman. But as she reaches for the last battery, her phone buzzes. Another notification. Another delivery scheduled in her name. Another piece of the plan to make her look incompetent. Clara sits back on her heels. The batteries rest in her palm like evidence. Small. Real. Proof that her hands work fine when she's not being gaslit. She opens her phone. Scrolls through the delivery apps she never downloaded. The notifications she never requested. The coordinated campaign to destroy her reputation. The text preview Martha tried to hide glows on her screen. Next delivery 9:40 p.m. Keep pressure. Clara replays the message, studies the timing, the coordination, the careful orchestration of her public humiliation. This isn't random. This isn't age-related decline. This is warfare dressed up as family concern. And Martha isn't the general. She's a foot soldier. Clara returns to the dining room. Her spine straight despite the arthritis pain. The conversation at her table stops when she approaches. I'm not here to argue feelings, Clara says quietly. I'm here to protect my records. She places a manila folder on the white tablecloth. The sound seems loud in the sudden silence. Medicare EOB sheets. Screenshots. Timestamps. Evidence arranged in neat rows. Someone is ordering deliveries in my name to make me look unstable, Clara continues. She holds up her phone. The captured text message glows on the screen. The words reflect in the crystal glasses. Ms. Foster reads over her shoulder. Her expression changes from pity to confusion to something sharper. That's premeditated, she whispers. The word drops into the conversation like a stone through glass. Premeditated. Not confusion. Not age-related decline. Deliberate targeting. The relationship dynamic shifts in real time. The women stop looking at Clara like a fragile widow. They start looking at Martha like a predator. Martha's smile twitches. Her orange juice glass trembles in her grip. You're embarrassing yourself, she says to Clara. No, Clara replies. I'm embarrassing your plan. The air around their table turns colder than the iced tea. Other diners begin to notice the tension. Conversations quiet as attention shifts toward their corner. Martha stands abruptly. Her chair rocks backward. The movement draws more eyes. More attention. More witnesses to her discomfort. Michael will handle this, she declares. As if invoking his name might restore her authority. Clara meets Martha's gaze steadily. No trembling now. No uncertainty. Michael can't even handle his own conscience, she says clearly. The words carry across the dining room. Other conversations pause. The yacht club patrons lean forward slightly. Sensing drama. Choosing sides. Mrs. Henderson clears her throat softly. The sound breaks the tension like snapping a thread. Perhaps, she says carefully, we should hear what Clara has to say. The support feels like sunlight after clouds. Small but warming. Clara straightens her shoulders. Martha's mask finally cracks completely. Behind the concern and manipulation, real panic shows through. Her plan is unraveling in public. In front of witnesses who matter. She's sick, Martha insists. But her voice lacks conviction now. She needs help. I'm not sick, Clara says calmly. I'm documented. She taps her folder of evidence. The papers inside represent hours of careful record keeping. Timestamps and screenshots and phone call notes. The courtroom in her own living room. And for the first time in months, Clara is winning. The bright Florida sun streams through the yacht club windows. But Clara doesn't feel heat anymore. She feels something new. Something that burns different. Clarity. The kind that cuts through lies like a blade through silk. The kind that reveals truth hiding underneath manufactured confusion. Martha gathers her purse with jerky movements. Her performance has collapsed. The audience no longer believes her story. We'll see about that, Martha mutters. But even she doesn't sound convinced anymore. Clara watches her former mother-in-law retreat toward the exit. Her heels click against the tile with less confidence than when she arrived. The women at Clara's table exchange glances. Reassessing. Reconsidering. Seeing the situation with new eyes. Are you safe at home? Mrs. Henderson asks quietly. The question contains multitudes. Recognition that Clara might be in danger. That family can be the enemy. That concerned relatives sometimes have their own agenda. I'm working on it, Clara replies. She closes her folder of evidence. The papers whisper against each other like promises. Protection made of documentation. Safety built from careful record keeping. Rock bottom isn't the fall, Clara realizes. It's the silence after. The moment when everyone stops listening to your voice. But that silence has ended. And Clara's voice still works just fine. Alone at midnight, Clara opens the storage box marked in her own handwriting, retirement 1998-2022. The cardboard feels soft under her fingers, worn from 3 years of careful handling. She lifts the lid slowly. The smell of old paper rises like incense from a past life. Wedding photos, teacher appreciation awards, budget spreadsheets she maintained for 30 years of marriage. Proof that she built stability with her own hands. Not luck, not inheritance, not a husband's generosity, her hands. Clara touches a faded yellow sticky note pressed inside a photo album. Michael's handwriting in blue ballpoint pen, "We did it." The words refer to their mortgage payoff in 2019. Their golden anniversary gift to themselves. Before Austin, before the divorce, before he decided their shared life wasn't enough anymore. The flashbacks hit like ocean waves. Sharp and sudden and overwhelming. Michael standing in their Austin driveway. Boxes loaded in his truck. His eyes focused somewhere past her shoulder. Never meeting her gaze directly. "So you're leaving," Clara had said. Not a question, just recognition of inevitable truth. "Don't make it ugly," he'd replied. As if 30 years of marriage could be dissolved politely. As if betrayal became acceptable when performed with proper manners. Clara remembers the bank office. Cold leather chairs and fluorescent lighting. The sound of a pen scratching across papers that divided their shared dreams in half. Michael's signature flowing easily across documents that erased her from his future. Half of everything, the lawyer had explained. Standard division of assets. But some things can't be halved. Trust. Security. The knowledge that someone will still love you when your hair goes gray and your hands shake. Those things disappear completely, like smoke in wind. Back in the present, Clara rereads a Social Security benefits letter. The numbers represent her safety net. Her independence earned through decades of work and careful saving. "I survived the day he stole half my life," she tells her reflection in the dark window. "I can survive his mother trying to steal the rest." Her voice trembles but doesn't break. The sound reminds her that she's still here. Still fighting, still claiming space in the world. Clara calls her former colleague. Patricia taught second grade in the classroom next to hers for 15 years. Now she volunteers at the senior center downtown. Patricia's voice sounds warm through the phone. Familiar. Safe. "Clara, this sounds like elder financial abuse," Patricia says after hearing the story. The words land like a medical diagnosis. Official terminology for what Clara has been experiencing. Not confusion, not normal family disagreement, abuse. "Then I'm going to treat it like a case file," Clara replies. The phrase comes from her years as assistant principal. When students brought problems too big for their small shoulders. When documentation meant the difference between help and abandonment. Clara practices sentences she might need in court. Speaking them into her quiet kitchen like prayers. "I am competent. I am documented. I am not alone." Each word feels solid in her mouth. Real. True. The opposite of everything Martha wants people to believe. She sets her pill organizer beside her legal notes. The plastic compartments catch the lamplight. Monday through Sunday. Order imposed on chaos. Not a sign of decline. A tool of independence. Clara sleeps in short bursts through the night. Each time she wakes, she adds another timestamp to her notes. Another detail. Another name. The pen scratches against paper like a small engine. Steady. Determined. Building evidence stroke by stroke. At 3 a.m., the Ring doorbell chimes its electronic song. Clara doesn't get up, doesn't check the camera, just reaches for her notebook and records the time. 3:17 a.m. Doorbell test. No one on camera. Pattern continues. The harassment has become routine. Predictable as sunrise, which makes it easier to document. Clara whispers into her phone camera, recording herself in the darkness. "If something happens to me, it wasn't my memory. It wasn't confusion. It was deliberate." Her voice sounds steady in the recording. Competent. The voice of someone who knows exactly what's happening to her. She saves the video to her cloud storage. Digital insurance against Martha's plan. The Gulf wind rattles her balcony door. The sound usually comforts Clara. Tonight it reminds her that storms pass. That morning comes after even the longest night. Clara opens a photo album to a picture from her retirement party. Surrounded by colleagues and students. Her face bright with possibility. Teacher of the Year, 1987, 1995, and 2018, she reads from an old plaque. The accomplishments feel real under her fingertips. Solid evidence that her mind worked fine for decades. That hundreds of students and parents and administrators trusted her judgment. That trust doesn't disappear overnight. Not because someone says it should. The past doesn't drown her this time. Instead, it hands her a map. A reminder of who she was before Michael left. Before Martha arrived. Before anyone questioned her right to exist in her own space. Clara Elizabeth Morrison, retired educator, property owner, American citizen with full legal rights. Still here, still competent, still fighting. The marriage ended, but Clara didn't. And she won't let them erase what survived. Clara wakes before dawn with absolute clarity. The kind that comes after the worst storm passes. She moves through her morning routine with steady hands. No trembling, no uncertainty. The pill organizer opens with familiar clicks. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Each compartment represents another day she's survived Martha's campaign. She gathers essentials methodically. Medicare card, Social Security letter, EOB folder with fraud documentation, deed copies, screenshots organized by date and time. Her hands stay steady as she places each item into a small overnight bag. The steadiness feels like anger refined into purpose. Distilled into action. Martha emerges from the master bedroom wrapped in Clara's best bathrobe. The sight should anger Clara. Instead, it confirms her decision. You're right, Clara says softly. I'm exhausted. I'm going to stay with a friend for a few days. Martha's eyes light up with victory. The expression spreads across her face like sunrise. She's been pushing Clara toward this moment for weeks. Good, Martha says. You need supervision. Clara forces a small nod. The gesture costs her everything. But it sells the illusion that Martha has won. Make yourself comfortable, Clara adds. The words taste like poison on her tongue. But they're necessary. Bait for a trap Martha can't see coming. Before leaving, Clara makes one stop at her computer. Her fingers move across the keyboard with practiced efficiency. 30 years of school administration taught her how systems work. How technology can be turned from weapon into shield. She accesses the smart home settings Martha doesn't know exist. Links doorbell notifications to Martha's phone number. Routes delivery confirmations to Martha's contact information. Redirects the entire harassment network to its source. The screen glow reflects in Clara's glasses. Cold blue light that feels like justice preparing to arrive. Clara doesn't gloat, doesn't announce her strategy. She simply works. The way she used to lock down student records before state audits. Quiet, thorough, inevitable. She steps out of her condo with the overnight bag. The morning air smells like jasmine and salt water. Normal Florida morning, but everything has changed. At her doorway, Clara pauses. She listens to the sounds of her former life. The air conditioning humming, Martha's off-key humming from the kitchen. Seabirds calling from the Gulf. She turns back to Martha with a gentle smile. Don't forget to answer the door, Clara says quietly. The words sound like a polite reminder. But they're really a promise. Clara drives to a budget hotel near the airport. Not because she needs to hide. Because she needs distance, perspective, space to think without Martha's presence poisoning every room. The hotel room smells like industrial carpet cleaner and other people's dreams. But it's clean, quiet, and it belongs to Clara for as long as she needs it. That evening, Clara's phone starts buzzing. First, a confused text from Martha. Your doorbell is ringing. Did you order something? Then, 5 minutes later, panic. It won't stop ringing. Make it stop. Clara sets her phone to silent. But she watches the notifications pile up like digital snow. Martha's world becomes what she tried to build for Clara. Bells at all hours. Angry drivers demanding payment for orders Martha didn't place. Delivery confirmations for food that arrives at 3 a.m. The same harassment campaign, but now the target has changed. Clara's phone lights up with Martha's frantic calls, each one more desperate than the last. Michael, help me, your ex-wife is crazy. But Michael doesn't answer. His own business collapses in Austin like a house built on sand. His phone goes straight to voicemail. His support disappears when Martha needs it most. The next morning, Clara meets with an attorney. The law office smells like leather and old books and the kind of confidence that comes from winning difficult cases. I need protection, not pity, Clara tells the lawyer. She slides the forged power of attorney across the mahogany desk. The document that would have erased her legal existence. And I need this documented before they try again. The attorney examines the papers with sharp eyes. Her expression grows more serious with each page. This is attempted elder financial abuse, she says. Identity theft. Fraud. The words sound different coming from a legal expert. Official. Actionable. The foundation for real protection. Clara provides every detail, every timestamp, every screenshot. The lawyer takes notes with the dedication of someone building a fortress from facts. Today, the paperwork protected me instead of erasing me, Clara tells herself on the drive back to the hotel. The phrase becomes her new prayer, spoken to the Gulf wind through her open car window. Martha's voicemails flood Clara's phone through the afternoon. Each message more frantic, more accusatory, more desperate. You did this. You set this up. Make it stop. Clara deletes nothing. She saves every message, downloads every notification, builds her case one panicked word at a time. Keep talking, she says to her phone screen. Because every word Martha says now becomes evidence. Every accusation reveals the plan. Every desperate plea admits guilt. The harassment campaign has turned on itself. The weapon designed to destroy Clara now attacks its creator. For the first time in months, Clara sleeps through the night. No doorbell, no mysterious deliveries, no gaslighting disguised as family concern. Just quiet, and the sound of Martha's world falling apart 20 miles away. Clara is not running, she's repositioning, and the fear is finally on someone else's porch. Justice tastes like room service coffee and the satisfaction of a plan perfectly executed. Like the moment when the hunter becomes the hunted. Like the sound of Martha's phone ringing at 3 a.m. with deliveries she didn't order. The trap has closed, and Clara holds the key. The courthouse steps rise like a concrete mountain under the January Florida sun. Clara climbs them slowly, her cane tapping against each stone. Her attorney walks beside her, briefcase heavy with evidence. The building smells like marble and justice deferred. Cool air and fluorescent lighting that makes everyone look pale. Serious. Clara wears her navy blue dress. The one she saved for retirement ceremonies and important occasions. Today feels like the most important occasion of her life. The courtroom doors open like gates to another world. Wooden benches arranged in neat rows. The judge's bench rising above everything else like an altar to truth. Clara takes her seat behind the plaintiff's table. Her folder rests on her lap like a shield. Everything she's gathered, everything she's documented, everything that proves she exists as a complete person. Michael shuffles in 10 minutes late. He looks thin, exhausted, his shirt wrinkled like he slept in his car. No longer the confident man who thought betrayal was a reasonable business strategy. His eyes dart around the courtroom, never settling on Clara, never acknowledging the damage he set in motion when he abandoned their marriage and left her vulnerable to his mother's schemes. Martha arrives trembling, her hair uncombed for the first time in Clara's memory. Her lipstick applied with shaking hands. She looks like a hunted animal brought to bay. Clara's attorney stands when the judge enters. The rustle of papers and shifting bodies fills the air like whispered prayers. Your Honor, this case involves attempted elder financial abuse through forged documents and coordinated harassment. Designed to undermine my client's competency. The words land in the courtroom like stones dropping into still water. Official language that transforms Martha's campaign into criminal behavior. Clara listens as her life becomes evidence. The attorney presents each piece methodically. Forged power of attorney. Pre-filled assisted living contract. False Medicare claims. Coordinated delivery harassment. The defendants attempted to gaslight Ms. Morrison into questioning her own sanity while simultaneously building a legal framework to control her assets. Michael tries to interrupt. I didn't know. The judge's gavel cuts him off. The sound echoes through the courtroom like a gunshot. You'll have your chance to speak, Mr. Morrison. Martha whispers something to her lawyer. The words sound like, she's sick. Like a prayer to a god who stopped listening. Clara calmly says, I'm not sick. I'm documented. The courtroom goes very quiet. The kind of silence that follows truth spoken in a place that recognizes it. Evidence lands like hammer blows. Screenshots showing coordinated timing. Timestamps proving systematic harassment. Voice recordings of Martha's threats. Text messages revealing the conspiracy. Clara watches the judge's expression change. Not pity, not sympathy, respect. Recognition that the woman sitting in this courtroom commands her own life. Martha's lawyer tries to argue confusion. Age-related decline. Family concern for an elderly woman living alone. But the evidence speaks louder than excuses. Phone records showing Martha's coordination with delivery services. Financial documents proving Michael's business failures. Bank statements revealing the family's desperation for Clara's assets. The pattern emerges like a photograph developing. Clear, undeniable, criminal. The judge reviews each document with careful attention. Her expression grows more serious with each page. The court finds clear evidence of attempted elder financial abuse, she announces. All forged documents are void. The defendant Martha Morrison is ordered to vacate the plaintiff's residence immediately. The words roll through the courtroom like thunder. Clara closes her eyes for half a second, absorbing the moment when justice becomes real. Furthermore, a protective order is granted. The defendants are prohibited from contact with Ms. Morrison except through legal counsel. Michael's shoulders collapse as the ruling sinks in. His mother's plan has not only failed, it has created legal consequences that will follow them both. Clara's attorney requests enforcement actions, asset protection, credit monitoring, the infrastructure of safety that will prevent future attacks. Each protection feels like a brick in a wall between Clara and the people who tried to erase her. Outside the courthouse, a neighbor from Clara's community approaches. Mrs. Henderson from Building B, the woman who avoided Clara during Martha's campaign. I'm sorry we listened, she says quietly. Clara replies, next time, listen to the paperwork. The words contain no anger, just wisdom earned through experience. The knowledge that documents don't lie when people do. The system finally saw what they were trying to do. Erase Clara with signatures that weren't hers. Disappear her with forms she never signed. Control her with authority she never granted. But documents have power beyond forgery. They can protect as well as destroy. Build truth as well as lies. Clara's dignity didn't return as a feeling. It returned as a ruling. Official recognition that she has the right to exist on her own terms. Michael approaches as she reaches her car. His face looks older than his years. Worn down by failure and consequences. Clara, you don't get access to my peace, she says clearly. The words stop him like a physical barrier. There will be no reconciliation. No forgiveness. No pretending that family loyalty excuses criminal behavior. Clara drives away from the courthouse with her folder of evidence on the passenger seat. The papers that saved her life rest quietly in the Florida sunshine. The gavel sound follows her like a door locking behind her. Closing off the past. Protecting the future. Justice tastes like victory measured in legal documents and court orders. Like the sound of a judge saying, the court finds in favor of the plaintiff. Like driving home to a house that belongs only to her. The law has spoken. And it used Clara's voice. Clara sells the old condo within a month. Not in defeat, but in choice. The realtor holds an open house on a Sunday morning. Families walk through the rooms where Martha tried to steal Clara's future. But they see only bright spaces and Gulf views. Clean slate. Fresh beginning. Clara signs the contract with steady hands. No trembling. No hesitation. The pen glides like a promise across official papers that serve her will instead of erasing it. She buys a smaller place 6 miles north. Modern construction with wide windows and a balcony that catches the late-day Gulf breeze. The first thing she does is set her pill organizer on the clean granite counter. The plastic compartments look different in this space. Not symbols of declining independence. Tools of careful self-management. Evidence that Clara takes care of herself. She exhales like entering a home that doesn't remember pain. The senior center meets every Tuesday morning in a building that smells like coffee and hope. Clara attends the first session with quiet determination. When they go around the circle for introductions, she speaks without apology. I'm Clara. I taught high school for 30 years. Now I help seniors protect themselves from financial abuse. The words feel solid in her mouth. Real, true, a mission earned through experience. Someone asks what she means by financial abuse. Clara's response comes easily now. When family members forge your signature. When they order deliveries to make you look confused. When they try to convince the world you can't take care of yourself. The room grows very quiet. Recognition spreads across several faces. Clara isn't the only one who has lived this story. She starts teaching the following month. Financial literacy for seniors becomes the most popular class at the center. Clara demonstrates with real documents, real tools, real protection. She holds up her Social Security letter, spreads Medicare EOB sheets across the table, taps her Medicare card like it's armor. These aren't boring papers, Clara tells the class. These are shields. The students take notes with the intensity of people learning survival skills. Which they are. Clara teaches them how to dispute false Medicare claims, how to freeze credit reports, how to document harassment, how to recognize the warning signs of family members who see elder parents as ATM machines. Most importantly, she teaches them that confusion is often manufactured, that forgetting small things doesn't mean losing everything, that age brings wisdom as well as vulnerability. Her voice carries authority earned through battle, the kind that comes from defending yourself and winning. On Saturday evenings, Clara sits on her new balcony with a glass of iced tea. The Gulf stretches endlessly blue beyond her railing. Sunset paints the sky in shades of hope. She opens her new wallet and pulls out her Medicare card. The name reads, Clara Elizabeth Morrison, in raised letters. Same as always, but now it feels like a signature on her own future. She signs a volunteer form for the legal aid clinic. Her handwriting flows clean and steady. No shaking, no hesitation. The pen moves like an extension of her will. A friend from the senior center visits one evening. They sit on the balcony watching boats return to harbor. Look at you, the friend says. Starting over. Clara smiles. The expression comes easily now. I'm not starting over. I'm continuing on my terms. She laughs. Small and real. The sound surprises her with its lightness. When did laughter become possible again? The answer sits in her folder of evidence. In the legal protections that surround her. In the knowledge that she fought for herself and won. Clara's phone stays silent now except for welcome calls. Friends from the senior center. Students from her financial literacy class. People who value her mind instead of trying to control it. Her records are hers. Her home is hers. Her life is not a family asset to be liquidated when convenient. The Monday pill organizer routine continues. But now it feels like ritual instead of struggle. Clara taking care of Clara. The way it should be. She practices Tai Chi on her balcony at sunrise. Slow movements that honor her body's limitations while celebrating its continued strength. 72 years of life that still move with purpose. Clara volunteers at the courthouse now, helping other seniors navigate legal protections. Her folder of evidence has become a template. A roadmap for others facing similar attacks. She speaks at community meetings about elder abuse. Her voice carries across auditoriums full of concerned families, warning them that predators don't always wear masks. Sometimes they wear familiar faces. The story she tells isn't about weakness overcome. It's about strength discovered, about documentation defeating deception, about the power of refusing to disappear quietly. Clara thought retirement meant shrinking. Becoming smaller, taking up less space in a world that values youth and speed. Instead, it means choosing. Choosing who deserves access to her time, her energy, her carefully protected peace. The Gulf wind lifts papers on her balcony table. Clara presses them flat with steady hands. Not today, she says to the breeze. The phrase has become her motto. Not today will she be erased. Not today will she doubt her own competence. Not today will she let anyone steal what she built with decades of careful work. Life doesn't end just because it breaks once. What falls apart can be the very place where we learn to stand again. Clara's story gave strength to dozens of seniors facing similar battles. Her financial literacy classes protect families from the kind of abuse she survived. Her court testimony helps prosecutors build cases against elder financial predators. Everything she went through means something today. Pain transformed into protection. Survival becoming service. If this story gave even a small moment of strength to someone listening, then Clara's fight was worth every difficult moment. The waves keep arriving at the Gulf shore. Steady and unbothered. Like they've always known her name. Like they recognize the sound of someone who refused to disappear. Clara Elizabeth Morrison. Still here. Still fighting. Still choosing her own path. The tide comes in and goes out according to natural law. But Clara's presence on this balcony, in this life, in this moment, that's choice. And choice, Clara has learned, is the most powerful force in the universe.